Alright, so today's video for this week-long series of videos on winter projects and the new winter stencils, I'm going to be kind of focusing on cards. Now, I am not a card maker, and I know that many of you are, and so no judgment. But this is how I make my Christmas cards, and so I thought I would share that with you. And I'm using, you know, a lot of different techniques and things like that, and a lot of the different stencils. So I want to quickly go over some of the ones that I don't need to really show, explain. It's pretty straightforward. So like this one, I just grabbed some black and white plaid paper that I've used in other projects, and this is the same background that we did in yesterday's video. And I'll link that. I'll have a link up above in the video, so that if you did not see yesterday's video on the backgrounds, you'll want to check that out, because I'm using that. The background, every single background that I'm using, I think, with the exception of a couple, are that same background technique. So I just did that, and then I used the Baby It's Cold Outside stencil, and that's it. Simple, simple, simple. And then what I do for all of my cards that I make, so I make the project, and then I will copy it. So all of these that I do today will get copied, and then I can print out and then just put them down on my cards. Super simple. Same project here. So this is the same background. It's a little bit grungier with the 2 deer stencil, and then the lights. Super simple. That's one of the things that I really want to emphasize, is when we're making our Christmas projects or Christmas cards and that kind of thing, it needs to be easy, because I can't spend hours doing Christmas cards like this. So I made my project and then I copied it, and that's what this is. This is I didn't make a copy of this. Is the actual card itself. It's just a piece of plaid paper, and then I cut a strip of cardstock and used the Believe stencil with my Archival inks. Shaded the edges, and that was it. I mean, that's about as easy as you can get. And I love this. And you know, you can change it. You could do green paper in the background if you wanted to, or you know, what have you. So super simple, easy cards. This one we're going to do a little bit later, because there's a little bit more detail in here, but honestly not a lot. This is Archival ink. I didn't use any paint except for my stars in the background paint, and that's it. So this is going to be super fast and easy. But we're going to have some fun exploring some of the other funness. So here's one of the projects that I did, and like I said, I scan everything and then I can resize it and print it out for cards, for prints, for whatever. But I'm going to show you how I did this one, and then we're just going to go through one by one, and I'm going to show you just really quick. Oh, I've got some fun stuff that we're going to be doing. So hang on to your hats and let's get started. So for this Let It Snow project, it's very simple with one exception. So this background is just a little bit different than the other background that we did yesterday, and the only difference is, and I'm going to grab my palette knife, so for this background all I did was collage papers down, and then use my palette knife with gesso, and then do a wash over the top of it. That's it. That's the whole background. So for this one, what I did was I added some red first, because I wanted a tiny bit of color in there, because the white, I mean, there just was not a lot of color. So I'm just using my Lukas acrylic paints. You can use whatever you have, and I'm just getting some color down with my palette knife, real sketchy, scratchy, because I still want those papers to show through. Okay, and you can pull it back wherever you want. All right, that's all you need to do. I'm going to get this dry. Okay, so this is dry, and now the next step is to do it exactly like we did here. So all that changed from the regular background is that I added this red color underneath. And now I'm just going to come over with my gesso and do my skipping across my piece here. And just have parts of that red peeking through. And like I said, if you have areas that you want to have show through more, you can pull it back if you want. Totally in control here, and it's up to you on how much that you want to get done. So you can see here in this piece, I've got that red peeking through, and that's pretty good right there. Maybe cover that up a little bit, but not too much. I want some color. So I'll get that dry. Alright, so this is dry, and now I'm going to come back in with a damp brush, a wet brush, and kind of do a wash on here like we did with the other. Really kind of scrub it in there, and then pull it back. And I'm going to go a little bit grungier on this, and the reason being is because it's going to be on white, so we want contrast. You want some contrast, so I'm going to darken up my paint a little bit, not so much water, and pick that up. And maybe just kind of darken up some of the other lighter areas around the edges. That looks good. Get that dry. Now that that's dry, move that out of the way, I'm just going to add my snowflakes. Super, super easy. I'm using gesso, and I'm going to do a couple of coats of the gesso because I want it to be super white, because, oops, I got a little brown on there. I want it to be super white so that it really stands out. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just measuring to see where my words are, to see if I have enough room for another snowflake. So I'm going to put down my words just so that I have an idea of where everything is at. So I'm just going to grab my Archival ink. Cuteness. Got a little bit of white on there. We can fix that. That's easy peasy. And then just add my my next snowflake. Cute, cute, cute. And then so I came back in, and that's it. That's the whole piece. That's really it. So I came back in and added shading around my snowflakes so that they would really stand out. So you can see once I start adding some shading around here, and you can even make these darker. I probably should make them darker, but I want to give you the idea. You guys, you know, you don't need to see me do the whole darn thing. So once I get some shading in there, you can see how that really makes that snowflake pop. And then same with the little ones. You can come back in and add. You can add more paint to it. You can grab a tiny little brush. Let me grab a brush here. There it is. You can grab a little brush, add some gesso, come in and light and darken those up if you want. And then all I did was grab a Sharpie marker. Sharpie marker and did some dots, snowflakes. And that's it. I added, I did add some highlights to my Let It Snow. So I've got, this is a gel pen. And that's it. That's it. Super, super simple and easy. Let it snow. Okay, next project. All right, for this example, I've lost a couple of my examples. It's no wonder in the chaos that is called my studio right now, but it's super simple, same premise as what we just did. So same background. I'm going to stencil in my words. This is the 'Tis the Season, Merry and Bright. And then going to come back in with my lights here. So am I going to use the big ones or the little ones? The big ones, right? Big ones, yeah. So I've got that there. I'm going to go light, because all I want is the example, or the line of this, because we're going to paint it in. So I'm lining it up nice and even. And of course, you can use paint, but I find that using the Archival ink is super fast. I don't have to wait for it to dry. And that's the whole object, is to make this fast. Turning that over and just doing the same thing. Okay, so I've got my outline of my lights now. And all I'm going to do is grab my brush, my little brush here, and add some paints to my lights. I'm going to use red, greens, and blues. Okay, so we've got our lights in. Now I'm going to come back in with the same fine tip paintbrush and do my lines. And I've just got some black paint out here. And you can do this with a pen. I just feel like I have more control with my paintbrush than a pen. So, you know, whatever floats your boat, whatever you prefer. But I'm just going to just go over the lines really quick here. Paint those in with my black paint. Okay, so I've got my everything painted in, all my lines and all of that. And so now I want to come back in and I just want to give some highlight to my lights. Just a quick swipe. It helps the brightness of the piece. Cute, cute. You can even add, I'm going to rinse that out a little bit. You can even add a tiny bit of light in here. So I've got all my highlights in all the way around, and now I'm going to shade. I'm going to shade all the way around my lights, the cords, all of that, to really make everything pop. and then add my shading around the edges. Now you can do this with a charcoal pencil. You can do it with soft pastels. You can do it with your Archival ink. I have done all of them actually, and of course my charcoal pencil is my friend, so I tend to, when it's a small project like this, will give it the charcoal pencil, and then we just add a little couple of highlights to add some light. And we are done. That was fast, super fast. Look at how cute that is. I mean, my goodness. So now let's grab, so we can see. So how cute is that? You could even, so let's grab, you could put, let's see, is that the right size? Put that down on some plaid. I mean, so cute. Oh, I like the red better. How cute is that? Okay, let's move on. Okie dokie, so let me, so for this next project, you are going to die. I just had so much fun playing with these stencils. So, okay, so this is the ornament stencil. I think that's what it's called, Christmas ornaments. And I've got some tape on there because I was doing some magic. But they come with their individual ornament or individual stencils, and there's just so many things that you can do with these. So I just want to show you. So these are some of the examples that I showed. I think I showed you before. And this is very similar background to what we have been doing, except with black instead of the raw umber. This is just straight on paper. I didn't do a whole lot. So, and then I did gold in the background and then stenciled over the top of it. So cute. So, but then I got to playing because I'm like, I wanted to, what else could I do with them? So I cutting them out and then putting them on. But then this is, I'm going to use these for tags, but look at how this is the Nouveau expanding mousse. So is this. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to stencil out, let's just play a little bit. So here is my, and you can, whatever. So I love the snowflakes, so I'll just do a snowflake. So I'm going to grab that. So I've got some tape here because I typically will not tape things down, but because I'm working with two different pieces, so I'm going to tape here and right there, so that keep that in place. And then I bring this over. And I will grab some red. And you could tape it down again up there, just because you're working with two pieces. Oh, I got too much paint. Shawn. I might have to do this one over. Looks pretty good. And so I'm going to grab just a tiny bit of the edge here. You can see that edge. So you can see how I've got that edge around here, and then I just grabbed my paintbrush and paint, because I want that paper to show through. So I didn't want to take away from any of that. And then I just grabbed my paintbrush and filled in the parts. And this is dry, and I'm just going to come in and grab some black on my palette knife and grunge it up a little bit. Of course, you don't have to. I'm going to add a little bit of white to that and maybe make it a little grayish. You can do all kinds of things to grunge it up, do some brown. Just a little bit here and there, because you can see here I've just got little bits here and there around the edges that just kind of add a little bit of interest. You can add you could add words if you wanted to. So I'm going to dry this in shade. Okay, so I have just about got all of the shading done. And the shading is important because it really kind of defines it, and then I added shading around the edges. And that's it. Super simple, super easy. You can use these with sprays. I think I had a couple of examples, so look at how pretty that is. I just love that. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with these. But my favorite, so perfect, easy, simple. Okay, so now let's move on to, now that I've got this paint all over this, how I like to use this stencil the most is, so I am going to grab, I'm going to go up here in this corner, over here. That'll work the best. So I'm going to grab another piece of tape. And again, I typically don't tape down, but I will need to for this technique. So let's see, let's tape here. So I'll be in here. Okay, that's a good sponge. So let's just all the way around. Okay, so that is that. Now, let me grab, you're gonna love this. So this is the Mosaic Minis stencil. And I believe this is probably one of my favorite, all-time favorites of my stencils so far. The pattern, I love the patterns. I'm going to grab some Nuvo expanding mousse and my palette knife and soften this up. That's really key to this because it's really thick, and that's key. But we want to soften it up just a tiny bit, so get in there and really kind of mix that up so that you can get a good palette knife full when you're doing this. Okay, so I've not moved anything, that's pretty dry. I'm keeping in mind where my circle is up there. And I'm going to just grab a scoopful. Oh my heaven, it just makes me so happy. I do that all day long, Look at how gorgeous that is. Okay, so this is a silver. Now, you could leave it just like this and let it dry. Or you can hit it with your heat tool. I'm going to zoom in. Hopefully you can see that texture. It is amazing, and it's dry just that fast. So amazing. So I came back, I wanted a little bit, because it turns kind of dull when you heat it. You can grab a little bit of silver paint. I've got a little bit of silver paint. You could do this with gold. I have a gold. I'll do gold next. And hit it so you have some shimmer on there. But I want cut this out and use it as a tag. Oh my goodness. I love this. You could do this on any piece, on any card. You could cut this out and put it on a card. I mean, and try all the different patterns. Oh my gosh, I'm just so happy about this. So let's do that one more time. Let me grab my, and let's put this down. So you want to make sure, this has got stuff on it, but you want to make sure to clean that off. I'm not a very good example. So let's put this up here. Tape that there. Tape this down here. Okay, so let's do the same thing with one of the, instead of the mosaic stencil, let's do it with one of the regular stencils. I'm going to actually tape this down just a tiny bit. Okay. Oh, color first. So I'm going to use some purple. Okay. Put this down. Let me grab the gold so you can see the gold. I guess it's not gold. Let's see, what color is it? Good question. So again, I'm going to loosen this up. It's kind of a bronze almost. Ooh, that's going to be pretty. And when you're working with, I want to do a snowflake. I just had that out here. There it is. Okay. I could play like this all day. So because this is a very delicate pattern, you want to be gentle. You want to almost kind of place your material down and kind of move it gently so that you get a good clean design. Okay, so hopefully that will work. Oh, I love it. I've got a little seepage out here, but oh my goodness. So, and that seepage out there, if you're going to cut it out, you don't even need to worry about it. So let's heat this up. Okay, so here it is. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous texture. I've got some gold on my finger. I can come back in and add some shimmer to it. If you want a little bit more shimmer, kind of, hopefully you can see that. And then we can cut it out. And these are going to be fantastic tags for presents. So on the back, you know, it's blank, so I can, you know, write in whoever's name, a note, that kind of thing. And I'm just so happy. So you can see I'll cut that out, but that this is basically the same. I put a little hole in the top, and it's all set to go. Cuteness! Look at that. Just love it. Love, love, love. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so this next Christmas card, And I do want to say that all of these projects can be expanded, enlarged, made, you know, I'm giving you ideas, quick and easy ideas that you can use for really any project. Okay, so this background is this is a piece of cardstock that has been gessoed. So it's got a little bit of gesso texture, it's kind of rough. I've got a little overspray on there, but we're going to make it work. And all I did was add a little bit of raw umber to the background really quick. So let me grab my rag here. And I'm going to dampen my rag, dip it into my umber, and just quickly give it some color. I'm going darker on the outer edges. And again, you can do this with Archival ink. Make sure my rag is nice and wet. Get these edges down here and just kind of pick this up a little bit. Okay, so now I've got my tree stencil out here, Christmas tree stencil, and I'm running it kind of off of the side here because we're going to have presents over here on this side that are going to kind of go in front of the Christmas tree. So I'm just kind of placing it in the right spot, making sure that everything kind of lines up. And I've got my Archival inks. This is peeled paint. I've cleaned off my brush as good as I'm going to clean it. And I'm going to load that up, and I'm going to go heavy on the outside and lighter towards the middle. Alright, so I've got the present stencil, I've got my Archival ink, and this is sepia. You could also use potting soil, which is one of my favorites. I switched to a smaller brush, and I'm going to overlap this just a little bit. I'm using the smallest of the presents, and you could use the big ones for all kinds of fun stuff. There we go. And really, again, the stencils are our guide. And so now we can, the tree is gorgeous just the way that it is. We've got our presents down here, and so I'm going to grab some gesso and my smaller, more detailed brush. Not that one. I'm dropping everything. Okay. Okay, got some gesso out here. And now I'm just going to paint in the lines. I'm coloring basically. I'm painting inside here and just accentuating our present. I'm keeping the lines because that's going to help me define the piece and to, or define the image I should say, and then for shading, because I'll go back over those lines with my charcoal pencil. Alright, so our bows are painted in, everything is in. I'm going to add my word and then we're going to come back and put in all the details. So I want to bring my word down into the piece, so I don't want it hanging out up here. I want everything to feel connected. So I'm bringing it down closer, I'm connecting it to the tree and almost to the presents, so that it feels like it belongs and not just floating out here in space. So I'm overlapping onto the tree. Let's see, where's the bow? Okay, that looks good. Grab some Archival ink in black. Oh. Okay, so now you know what happens next. The magic happens. I'm going to grab my charcoal pencil and start shading everything. I'm going to go all the way around the tree, all the way around my words here, my presents, everything. Alright, so all the shading is done. It's looking so good. So I'm going to dip my, I better clean my brush first. Dip my brush into some gesso. Get that loaded up. And I want to highlight my snowflake here. Give it a little bit of white. And then come back in and put some stars. And I'm just doing crosses. So, and in fact, I'm going to grab my Sharpie to do the base, I believe. Yeah. And you can see the stars coming alive. Put a star on the tree. Cuteness. All right, that looks great. Now, just real quick, I'm going to age the edge of my piece here. Let's clean out my brush a little bit. And I'm using the potting soil. And just darkening up the edges a little bit, and it's done. Super fast, super easy. Cute. And then I took my black and just edged this up a little bit in some black. And that, oh, I forgot to put my my little dots, my ornaments on my tree, but I think you guys can figure that out. So look at how cute. All right, so let's move on to the last project. Okay, one last quick project for our cards, or for really whatever you want to use them for. Okay, so I'm using the Joy to the World here. And I'm going to put my words down first because they will help guide the rest. So I'm putting it down towards the edge here. Okay, let's see, where's my, I want that color too. Okay, so grab my black. And I'm working on the same background Same background on all the pieces. Cute. Clean this off a little bit. And now I'm going to come in and put in some branches. I'm going to use my Archival ink. Too cute. And you could add more if you wanted. So I'm going to take my charcoal pencil and I'm going to attach my ornament to my branch and do my shading all the way around everything. I'm going to come in and add my lines to my branches and give them some substance. I'm going to add just a little bit, oops, my brush is too wet. Add a little bit of depth to our ornament here. And on our letters, just a little bit of highlight there. And I want to add some shading around the edge, and I will do that with some potting soil. And now I'm going to add just a little bit of charcoal on the outer edge here. How cute is that? Okay, so now here's our card. Look at how cute. You could come in and put in, let's see. I think my paper needs to be bigger. Oh, that's pretty cute. It'd be cuter if the plaid showed just a little bit more, but you get the idea. Oh, can you see that? How cute. Even offset like that is cute. You could do red too. And now I'm just playing. Oh, I like the red. Look at how cute. So there are our projects, fun, fun, fun. So we did this one, did this one, we did this one, we did the Let It Snow one. We did a lot today. We played and played and played, and we did our ornaments and the cool, what did I do with the cool texture? Oh, here they are. This is probably my favorite. This is just yummy good. So you could do tags. We just had so much fun today. All right, my friends, thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow with another fun project.